Guys, welcome to my first ever YouTube video, yay! My name is Bree, also known as That Girl Thrifts on Poshmark, eBay, and Instagram. So I am a part-time clothing reseller on the Poshmark platform, and I dabble a little bit with eBay, but Poshmark is my primary platform, while I'm also a full-time marketing manager and balancing my life outside of work and poshing and thrifting, including spending time with family and friends. I just wanted to expand my reach and get on different platforms, so that's why I'm on YouTube today. And I thought I could use this first video as a way for you all just to get to know me, give you a little bit of an introduction, which I've already touched on, and then I posted a Q&A on my Instagram stories a few weeks back, and I had some of you ask some questions, and I wanted to go ahead and provide answers to those questions. So let's get started. If this is something that you think is interesting, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and be sure to leave me a comment if you have any questions that I did not answer in today's video. All right, so as I said, I'm a part-time clothing reseller. I'm based in Scottsdale, Arizona. I have a fiance named Troy who also sells on eBay, so we resell together. He also dabbles a little bit with Amazon, so it's really great to have a thrifting partner in crime and someone who understands the side hustle. We have a dog named Melly who you'll probably see from time to time if you follow me on social media, and that's really us in a nutshell. So let's go ahead and get to some of these questions. So my first question that I was asked is, how much am I willing to pay up for higher ticket items? So I don't really have a set threshold by any means. I've also contemplated just picking up better items at a higher cost and not netting as much to bring in more traffic to my Poshmark closet, and I have done that. But generally my rule of thumb is I will pick up whatever within reason, my own reason, as long as I can make a profit off of it. I've picked up $60 Tory Burch boots, and I've sold them for over $100. And then I've also picked up shoes that I think are super, super cute and fit my closet aesthetic, but don't go for as much, and I'm okay with breaking even, because in my eyes, if someone is coming to my Poshmark closet and they see a certain style, that brand that I've created for myself by only selecting certain brands, certain styles, and they want to come back because of that, then I've won. So I have picked up shoes before and just basically broke even, but I picked them up because I hope that customer who buys those shoes likes my brand, my aesthetic, my style, and then comes back. So really don't have a threshold, but normally I try to keep my cost of goods down so I don't pick up $60 shoes every day. I definitely utilize the bins from time to time and dollar days and 50% off days at Goodwill, but within reason is kind of my gut instinct that I go with. So the next question I get is, does using stock photos really help sell items? So my opinion on it is yes. I haven't done the research myself. I know that I've read and heard from other resellers that they've looked back on their comps and they found that clothing items that have a stock photo included have sold faster, and I think it's not necessarily the stock photo, but it's the fact that your potential buyer can come into your closet and see what that piece looks like on someone. There's definitely a difference versus either hanging a shirt up or flat laying it compared to someone actually wearing it, so that someone can actually visualize and see how it will fit, what it will look like when they wear them. And I also think it makes your posh closet look just a little bit more professional and uniform. So that's my take on it. I was actually going to pull a piece of inventory, show me your muumuu, show you an example of how you can find stock photos really quickly with certain brands, and I actually think it's behind me, so I'm just going to grab that real quick. So here's an example. So Show Me Your Muumuu is one of the brands that I like to sell. I pick it up whenever I can. Madewell's another one that I like to sell because it's also easy to find the stock photo because of how their labels are set up. So this top is new with tags. It doesn't have any type of style name or anything on it. Here's the label. But here is where you find said style, and then you can look it up on Google. So you can see right here, it says Katrina top. So I can go ahead, and I actually did this last night. I went into Google, I typed in show me your muumuu Katrina top, and I had stock photos come up in the listing that was actually for sale at Nordstrom. So it's not only the stock photo, I think if you can find that, great, but if you can also find like the details from the original listing, you can take some of their keywords and ideas and make it your own in your Poshmark listing. So for me, I say stock photos sell clothes because you can physically see it on someone. All right, next question. How in the world do you find such name brand items? So it has not always been this way. When I started out, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, Troy and I used to go to 50% off days at Goodwill. So in Arizona, every other Saturday, they have the whole store 50% off. We would thrift from sun up to sundown, and I would pick up awful brands. Like, I understand LuLaRoe sold at one point, but I definitely got on the train late, so I picked up a lot of LuLaRoe. I just didn't do my research, and I got there by listening to YouTube videos and Instagram stories and all of that. So I've learned a lot. So what I have to say is I thrift or source from a multitude of places. So I'll go to the thrift store, and I'm very picky. I wasn't always like this. I sometimes would be desperate and just pick up something that I thought was good. But now I do my research, and I don't leave a store with anything that isn't a high quality brand or item that I think will sell, because if I'm not excited about it, it's going to sit in my money pile and never get listed. So thrifting at a variety of places, so maybe Goodwill, maybe Savers, combine that with buy sell trade stores, a little bit of retail arbitrage in there. That's how I find my best items, because especially when I shop retail arbitrage, like this top here, I find items that are new with tag, but I can do it in a smart way where it's not super expensive, where it's not breaking the bank. I've also had success with liquidation stores and garage sales even. Just doing your research and being smart about how you source, even if it's one stop here after work for 15 minutes and another stop here, after the dog park. You don't always need to spend 20 plus hours a week thrifting, or 8 hours a day. Sometimes an hour here, a half hour there will get you those name brand items, especially if you're going back to stores that restock more often, and you learn when they restock because you either observe, number one, or number two, ask a staff member. So, all right, so here's the last question that I'm going to answer in tonight's video. I wanted to keep this first one shorter so that I can play with editing and just give you guys a good introduction to who I am and what I do and why I do what I do, because I love it and it's fun to provide value to you guys, because this is exactly how I learned. But what's the best thing you've purchased to better your listing process and cut down time? So I absolutely love that question, and a few months back I posted on my Instagram about automating things. A lot of resellers use virtual assistants. This is something I've considered. I ran a test on my own. I'm going to try to share my closet 5 times a day, see what that does to my sales, and see if that justifies me spending the money to hire a virtual assistant. And it really didn't. So I don't use a virtual assistant for sharing. I just learned how to get smarter about it, like using the Safari browser, because it's a lot faster to share from there. I'd say the other thing that I've done to quicken my process is purchasing ring lights. So when I first started out, I just used natural light in my house, and I don't get a lot of it. And I used a lamp that I had in my bedroom for flat lays, and it took so much time because certain parts of the item was dark, certain parts of the item was light, and I just wouldn't recommend it. So at the very beginning, I just said, hey, I'm going to invest in some lights because it's going to speed up the process, A, and B, it's going to make my listings look better. So definitely recommend some sort of lighting setup. I can go ahead and link the ring lights that I have below in the description. And then this piece isn't really related to listing, it's more so shipping, so it's still part of the process, but you can probably see right here that Dymo label printer. That's probably the best investment that I've made in my business, second to those ring lights I was talking about, just because before I was cutting out every single piece of paper, not to mention we don't have a printer here where we live, so I was either printing at work, printing at my parents' house, then I had to cut and tape, and that just takes up time, and that's time that I can invest in other ways into my business. So it's not directly part of the listing process, but it's part of the reselling process as a whole that I think is super important. And then I will add in one other thing, because I think when we think about automating things and making it easier, we tend to just think about our business, but if you think about your life and what's taking a lot of your time away from either like getting after it and sourcing or listing, for me, it sounds silly, but it was cleaning my house. So every Sunday, I felt like I was spending so much time cleaning my house so that it would be great and fresh and like all ducks in a row for the new week ahead. But what I did is I actually had a cleaning crew come in, and they do come in once a month just to deep clean. And that's money that I've invested into having someone come clean my house. I know it sounds silly, but that's time that I can then take and put back into my business to either list, take photos, or source. So I'm all about working smarter, not harder, and learning as I go. So that's a wrap on my questions and answers for this video. What I have planned going forward, I'm going to do some haul videos. I'm going to do some What Sold Wednesday videos, and I'm going to bring it straight to YouTube. I know I've tested a few things out with that. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me, That Girl Thrifts, and you can see what I'm talking about. Every Wednesday, I post what's selling in my closet, and I share your finds as well. But if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comment, tell me what other questions you want to hear about and what you want to learn more about, because I'm here to provide you value. Whether I post a YouTube video once a week, once a month, I'm going to make this happen. So I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.